These three MagSafe tripods all offer fast setup, strong magnets, and enough height for full body shots. But one's taller, one's more compact, and one may have a better phone mount. Today I'm testing all three to see which one I will actually travel with. And the tallest one might not necessarily be the best choice. Now let's meet our MagSafe tripods. Competing today from left to right, we have the K&F CONCEPT, the Yoozon, and the KraftGeek. I've had the KraftGeek for a while, so I no longer have the box or any of the accessories. Here are all three tripods next to a tube of chapstick to give you an idea of the actual sizes. First is the K&F CONCEPT Popod 72. The K&F is listed at 72 inches tall, 11 inches when folded, and approximately 0.88 pounds. It also includes magnetic and clamp style mounting, plus a 1/4 inch accessory connection. The Yoozon is listed at 65.7 inches tall and 11 inches when folded. It uses N52 magnets, offers extensive head rotation, and includes a Bluetooth remote powered by a CR1632 battery. The K&F also offers a Bluetooth button, but this one is rechargeable. The KraftGeek is listed at 66 inches tall, 13 inches when folded, and 14.8 ounces. It also uses N52 magnets and also includes its own Bluetooth remote, which is connected via magnet. This is the model that I've had for a long time, so I no longer have the directions or the box. I've been using this for a couple of years. I wanted to measure the max height of each tripod to see if the listings were accurate. I'm 6 foot 2 inches tall, and all of these are definitely tall enough for full body shots. I measured from the ground up to the middle of the MagSafe ring because that would be the center of your phone. The KraftGeek was 61 inches tall. The Yoozon came in at 65.5 inches, and the K&F was 69.5 inches. Now that we've seen how tall they can get, let's find out how usable these are as desk tripods. I put each one to its lowest possible setting. The lowest the K&F can hold your phone is 7.5 inches from the desk. The Yoozon is 6.5 inches, and the KraftGeek is almost double the other two at 13.5 inches. Now let's look at the special features of each tripod. The KraftGeek doesn't really have any special features other than it is more robust than the rest. So in a moment, I'm going to do a leaf blower test to see which one falls over with the least amount of pressure. And this one I'm assuming is going to be the most stable. It doesn't twist around, so the only angle is either this way or this way. This little piece does bend down, so you can get downward shots like this. And it also has the shutter controller, the little remote that you can pop out and use that to control your phone. Other than that though, this one doesn't do anything extra. So if you wanted to use accessories, for example, a magnetic light or a screw-in light, you can't use either of those with this. Now we're going to test how strong the MagSafe is on this one with an iPad, because iPad is, you're probably going to be using a phone most of the time with this. This thing's extra weighted, extra heavy. It's an iPad mini, but still a lot heavier than my phone. And as you can see, that is really, really sturdy and tough to pop off. The Yoozon does have something extra that you can do, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So let's first do the MagSafe test. And again, this is an iPad, and that is really sturdy. If I shake it too much though, you'll see that this does start to eventually bend. So keeping that straight might be a challenge if it's moving too much. But if I just move it and let go, it does stay. Now the other advantage that this tripod has that the previous one didn't is that I can change the rotation. So no matter where the legs are facing, I can turn this, which I really like that feature. And the other really good feature is if you want to add a light, there's nowhere to screw in a light like this one, but if you have a MagSafe light like this, we'll turn that on, you can simply stick this to the back because that's also magnetic. And now you have your light while you're filming. I love that feature, and it's one of my favorite things. Now the extra features with the K&F CONCEPT tripod. This one has a whole bunch of different things. So first of all, if for some reason you need to put a device in here that is not MagSafe, you can simply pull apart here and you have the old school kind. But what's cool is you can shoot vertical, or because this will just twist and rotate, you can switch it to horizontal in a matter of seconds. So I love that feature. I don't use it because everything I have has a MagSafe sticker on it now, but it's nice to know that it's there in an emergency. The other feature, of course, this also has a remote. All three of them have a remote. One thing I will say that I don't like about this one is this lanyard, because every time I'm trying to close this, either that happens or the lanyard gets stuck inside. So I will be removing the lanyard, but still keeping the remote button in place. Now let's do the MagSafe test with this one. And of course, it's just like the other ones, super strong, super sturdy. I can rotate this around and everything holds tight. Now what makes this tripod unique is, now on the backside, there is no extra magnet, so I can't use a MagSafe light, but what I can do is use a screw-in light or a screw-in shotgun microphone like I have right here, a little screw on the bottom. And for this demonstration, we're going to use the light. Now, in order to use this, what you do, oh, by the way, this one also can be twisted in any direction, which is also super helpful. And I love that feature. So if you unscrew this little wing nut and loosen it up, you can bring this down. And now what you're going to do is move this piece here, this little piece here, straight up and down. And then you tighten this where you want it to be. And now that's going to hold your phone or your iPad where you want. You can still adjust the height. But if you remove this little rubber covering, you can now take your shotgun mic or your light with a screw and screw it in. And now we have light. All of these tripods offer one-touch deployment, so let's test that out. The KraftGeek opens up the easiest both on solid floor and on carpet or grass. However, you do have to manually close this one. The Yoozon pops open and pops closed, which is super fun. The K&F has the slowest opening and it struggles to pop open on carpet or grass, but it does pop closed as long as the lanyard doesn't get caught up in the process. Next, we're going to extend each one. This is the K&F. I'm going to extend it all the way with the iPad on the end, which is a lot of weight. And we're just going to look at how much flex this has. And you can see there is a little bit of movement to that. And we can extend this. If I extend it all the way, I'm sure there's going to be even more. But there's definitely a little bit of wobble. Even though it feels wobbly, this does have rivets in it, so it's not just a round tube, and that does give it a lot more extra structure. So this does feel pretty sturdy. It's kind of like a reed blowing in the wind, which you want it to bend a little bit so that it doesn't break. Next, we'll try the same thing with the Yoozon, and this is going to be tricky because there's no way for me to tighten this down. It's always just, I mean, it's pretty stiff. For a phone, it'd be great. For the iPad, though, it's going to be tough to keep this from bending, let alone the pull. So here we go. And you can see that's definitely got some movement to it. But again, this does have a ridge, which is going to give it a little extra strength. And it does feel sturdy, but not quite as sturdy as the K&F. And finally, for our biggest one, the KraftGeek, same idea. I'm assuming this one's going to have the least amount of movement because it's the heaviest one and the shortest, because it's the heaviest one and it's not as long. But as you can see, they all have about the same amount of movement. They all have grooves here on both sides to give it extra stability. But yeah, there's a little bit of wiggle to that, but I don't think that's a big issue unless it's super windy. Now we're going to do a wind test. I've set all of three of these to approximately the same height, and I'm going to take a leaf blower and blow on the lowest level right here at this spot, at the most top heavy spot. Keep in mind, if there was a phone or an iPad, the wind would probably catch it even more. But for the experiment, I'm just going to keep them as they are. This one has an advantage, I think, because it has a hole in the middle that might help it out. We'll try it on level 1, then level 2, then level 3, and see if any of them actually blow over. The microphone that I'm wearing has noise canceling, so you probably won't even hear the leaf blower very much. Here we go. Level 1. That's pretty good. Level 2. Getting close. Still standing. And he's down. Level 3. Oh, he came back and he's gone. Nobody survives level 3. I will say this, because these can spin, you can decide to have, this toward the back, or you can decide to have a solid stand toward the back. So if the wind is blowing this way, ideally you'd have this in the back. And the reason I think this one lost is because you can't twist the angle of the head. So the way this sets up, if this is the front, this is going to be less stable if blowing this direction. Of course, I could have just went like that. I didn't even think of that till now. And I could have had this on the back. In that case, I do believe that it's a tie in wind resistance. All 3 of these tripods do have rubber grips where they touch the ground. As far as which one feels easier, like to just carry around with you, it's hard to say. This one is the lightest one. It's very light, but it's kind of bulky because it has this thing folded over on the side. This one has this same thing, but it's even larger, folded over on the side. That being said, if you hold it down here, it's not that big of a deal. This one is super easy, but it's also the heaviest of the 3. Now, this lanyard would be nice if you could attach it and use the lanyard to hold the entire tripod, but you can't do that because the lanyard is actually attached to the remote control like this. And I'll tell you something about this lanyard. I'm going to remove it for sure if I'm using this tripod, because it makes it almost impossible to close this thing up the fun way or the quick way by shaking it up. Every single time I do that, the lanyard gets stuck inside. So I'm going to take this off. It'll be a lot more fun. So that's a wrap up of all 3 of these tripods. And the best choice depends on how you plan on using it. Here's my plan. I'm going to go with this one for travel. I love the fact that it's tall enough. You can see, I mean, this is max height for this. It's easily tall enough for me to do full body shots. I actually usually prefer it about right here for that. So it has the height. It's easy to put away. It's sturdy enough. It's the lightest of the bunch, and it's very compact. I rarely use the remote controls that come with these, but it's nice to know that it's there if I'm not filming a video, if instead I'm taking a picture with my wife on a beach somewhere, something like that. This is the smallest, the most compact. This is my choice for travel. I also love the fact that I can use this light and stick it on the back while I'm making content. That's a huge plus for me. Now, if you're creating content at home and you don't need the smallest, lightest version, then I would go for the K&F. This thing has so many features. It's also very lightweight. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It is a little knacky banging this, trying to get this thing to open, especially if you're in the grass or if you're on carpet. But if you happen to be on a sidewalk or somewhere where the floor is hard, it's pretty easy to open. And if you don't do that, find a rock. If you find something solid, it opens up pretty well, and you can close it just like that, as long as the lanyard doesn't get in the way. But I do love the fact that this is so mobile, and you also have that extra feature where you can spin this. You can use this if you need to maybe put somebody else's phone, which is not MagSafe. And of course, you can attach your accessories right here on that screw. You can put your boom mic or your screw-in light. I think this thing is awesome for creators. And that leaves us with this one. And I'm sad that this didn't have all the features that the others had. This has been my favorite thing to take with me. However, it is heavy. But I do think because it's heavy, it is very robust and it's pretty stable. And I do keep it around, and I'll show you why. Because all 3 of these do come with those little MagSafe stickers where you can stick it on the back of something like I did on my iPad. That's one of those little ring stickers. You can also put things like this little stop clock or this little stopwatch. So when I'm filming content, I can have this on this little tripod while I'm using my big setup that I'm using right now. And that way I have this in view of the camera. So I'm going to keep all 3 and use them for different purposes. Which one was your favorite? Did you like the Yazoo, the K&F, or the KraftGeek? I highly recommend all 3. And if you'd like to grab any of these tripods, there are links for all 3 in the description below. Please do me a favor, click like on this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.